Hello and welcome to Just Hoops. Jarace Walker is one of the most sought-out prospects in this year's NBA draft. The 6'8", 240-pound freshman from Houston was just incredible to watch, and the talent is absolutely oozing out of him. In terms of this past season, he averaged 11 points per game, 6.7 rebounds, 1.7 assists, shot 47.5% from the field, 34.7 from three, 54% true shooting, and 2.2 stocks per game. Let's dive into the film and see what Jarace Walker did this season that makes him one of the most highly valued prospects going into the draft. The thing that makes Jarace Walker stand out so heavily in this year's draft is his ability at the defensive end of the floor. The mix of his physical tools, the size, the strength, the athleticism, the agility, being 6'8" with a 7'2" wingspan and having the strength and frame of a football player, mixed with just the competitive and natural instinct he has at this end of the floor to go get stops on an individual and team level is just incredible to see. And it's definitely what is allowing him to be one of the most coveted players in this year's draft. As we look at these clips though, the first bunch is him in one-on-one situations on the perimeter. This just shows his versatility. He's going to be a 4 or small 5 man in the NBA, and the way he's able to go out on the perimeter, guard his yard, and just have that natural understanding and feel of how to get stops on this individual basis is what makes him so special. As we keep looking at these clips, he sits down in a stance. He does a good job at having his hands in a spot to be active. He takes that contact in the chest. He slides laterally very well and is quick laterally. He does a good job at forcing offensive players into shots that they don't necessarily want. In this clip here, it's against another highly sought-out rookie in Brandon Miller. He sits down in his stance and forces a turnover. Just the way that he is able to take it from an instinctual level just to guard his yard, have the purpose behind him, and he has the physical tools to do it against anyone on the floor at any given time is truly special to see, and it's definitely what's going to allow him to be successful in the NBA. And next, his playmaking ability. He averaged 2.2 stocks per game, steals and blocks. He just goes out there and makes plays happen. You're going to see in these clips he's a natural shot blocker. He does a good job at having his hands active and out, at tipping the ball out of the ball handler, tipping in the passing lanes, and just forcing turnovers. Just the ability that he has at this end of the floor to just naturally do these things, even when he's beat, he makes that extra effort to go make these plays happen, is just something you really don't see from a player at this level, but also with his size and versatility. And then nextly, we're going to talk about him on the interior. He weighs 240 pounds. He has a sturdy frame, long wingspan, and that allows him to guard on the inside and be effective down there against bigs. This is what's going to make him special. You're going to be able to play him at the 4, play him at the 5, and he's going to be able to guard his and do a really good job on the inside. As you can see in all these clips, he does a good job at keeping a good base, staying in front of the post player, having his hands up, walling off the offensive player, and at the end of the day, just making it difficult. And then when it comes down to the team aspect, not many people could cover space like Jarace Walker can. You can see in a lot of these clips, he is in great help positioning on the lane line, but he's able to make these long closeouts consistently, which aren't easy. Coming from the midline, coming from the nail, coming from the elbows, all these areas of the floor, when you're in a team defensive setting, if you're able to make these closeouts on a consistent basis like he can, you're just taking away space from offenses. The way that he flies around on the help side and just contests shots, makes plays happen, forces turnovers, blocks shots. It's just really cool to see a player like him so young and have the natural instinct to go make plays off of the ball is just awesome to watch. And it'll be a big reason why he can impact from day one, with the ability of guarding his yard individually, playmaking through shot blocking and steals, and then lastly, closing out, contesting shots, running guys off the line by the ability to cover space, all while having a great motor and natural feel for the game. His ceiling as a defender is so high, and I'm excited to see how good he ends up at this end of the floor. So to go to the offensive end of the floor, I think we can start with his shooting ability. Being able to get better at shooting is going to be one of the keys to his success in the NBA, but I think the foundation is there. Yes, he shot under 35% from 3 last year at Houston, and he wasn't a great free throw shooter, but at the end of the day, I think that the form is there. He gets his feet down pretty well. He has great fluidity from the ground up. The release is high, and he has pretty good spin on the ball. A lot of misses were off of the rim, soft, just bad bounces for him. And I think that because he's not missing left and right, he's missing short and long, that once he's able to hone in on this aspect of his game, lock in, he'll be a very efficient shooter from beyond the arc. And the more efficient he can get as a shooter, just the more value he'll bring to an NBA floor. To transition a little bit, next, Jarace can be such an elite downhill threat with or without the ball in his hands. With the ball in his hands, he is a pretty solid mid-range jumper, a really soft and nice floater that I think is going to translate very well. But the shooting ability will definitely help him in the long run with how he's going to be able to attack, get downhill off closeouts, and make plays that way. But he does have a pretty solid ability to make plays off the bounce, get downhill, get to his floater, get to his pull-up. He does need to clean up his handle a little bit, where there were times where he did lose it and he was a little loosey-goosey with the ball in his hands. But at the end of the day, I think that this will be something that can easily improve, and it will be a big part of his game moving forward with that size, strength, and just overall frame and athletic ability he has when he can get downhill. Nextly, though, he did settle a lot for mid-range shots, but I think that, as I said about his three ball, that the shot is there. The form is nice. I like how he's able to elevate in the second level over defenses, knock down these shots, and I think it could become a strength in his game, especially as the three-point shot continues to grow. I think that the more he's able to get downhill, get to his spots in the mid-range, he can be a pretty efficient second-level scorer. To go to the out-of-the-hands part of his downhill ability, he shot 66.7% at the rim. He showed a great ability to move off the ball, be a physical force when rolling and diving toward the rim. Yes, he wasn't featured a ton in ball screens, but I think that this cutting ability and way he played on the porch in Houston could definitely translate to him being on the roll in the NBA. And I think that this is something that needs to be seen out thoroughly at the next level. And the last part of his offensive game I want to talk about is him as a playmaker. He's a very raw offensive playmaker where he's able to get downhill. He has a natural feel for the game and knowing where the ball has to go. He's willing and able to make the smart play. Yes, he was a little turnover prone at times throughout college where he was loose with the ball. He was trying to make a tougher play than he should have happened. And yes, those moments happen, but at the end of the day, he showed a raw ability in the middle of the floor, out of the paint, whether it was by drives or on the roll. And as a short roller guy, I think that those three things and those three areas of the floor where he was able to make plays consistently will definitely be a huge point of his game moving forward in the NBA, with the spacing, the actions, and the positions he'll be put in as a small ball 5 or 4 man in the NBA. As we go through all these playmaking clips and passes from his year at Houston, he showed a raw ability as a playmaker in general. He had a really good feel for the game. He understood passing on the interior in that middle third of the floor, whether it was to the porch or to a dive man. He did a great job in those spots. He was really solid off the elbow, making the right decisions happen. And I think that going to the NBA and having that spacing and having the actions that are run will definitely allow him to grow and blossom as a playmaker, along with all the other aspects of his offensive game. The offense is definitely the raw part of what he has to offer at the next level, but I think he has the opportunity to be great at this end of the floor. Jarace Walker from New Freedom, Pennsylvania has a genuine opportunity to be drafted to the NBA in the top 5 and be one of the most impactful two-way forces the game has seen. The way he is able to guard already, both on and off the ball, inside and out, is incredible, and offensively, he has the raw tools and skill to be a complete offensive player. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned something about Jarace Walker as we prepare for the NBA draft. For more content like this, please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you in the next one.